These are the things I wish I could go back in time to tell myself when I was first getting into sim racing to give me a little bit better guidance. One of these things is guaranteed to upset some people, but this is my opinion, formed from the knowledge I've gained from becoming more and more in tune with the sim racing world. These are a few things I wish I could tell myself about 5 years ago when I was trying to research whether I should get a TMX, a Thrustmaster TX, or a direct drive. By the way, I do have a video on Thrustmaster versus Moza comparing a high-end entry wheel versus a low-budget professional wheel. If that's something you're curious about, I'll put a link in the description. Number 1. If you're a kid or an adult that's on the fence about it because you're not a huge car guy or a gamer but you're curious, expensive is different for everyone, but if you play video games, odds are you can afford SimDrive. A brand new Elite controller costs just as much as a Thrustmaster TMX, which is a very worthy entry-level wheel. A Thrustmaster TMX Pro you can find used for like $125. A Thrustmaster TX you can find used for like $200 to $350. You can get a Logitech for $300 brand new and a couple $100 used. In a quick Google search, you'll find plenty of people complaining that the wheels aren't good enough for one reason or another, whether they aren't powerful enough so I can't drift, they don't have enough torque to be able to countersteer the wheel properly. They're just complaining. If it's going to be your first steering wheel, you don't need to go balls out. They are worth it. There's no way to get your feet wet without dipping your toes in the water, or dipping your toes in the throttle in this case. But number 2, there is a limit of being cheap. Don't waste your money on a wheel that doesn't have force feedback, and don't waste your money on a wheel that isn't 900 degrees wheel rotation. Don't waste your money on the Amazon eBay stand. It is absolutely not worth it. I have a full video comparing your typical Amazon $100 wheel stand. You're much better off taking that $80 to $100 that you would spend on the Amazon or eBay wheel stand and putting that budget into your wheel to get a better wheelbase and pedals, and take that better wheelbase and pedals and clamp it to a table or a desk that you already have laying around. Continuing on number 2, the you get what you pay for mentality. Direct drive is worth the money. I am a cheapo. I budget things like no other. I mean, I choose to live in a vehicle to avoid paying rent, and I think that says enough. With that being said, I would have never forked the money over to go direct drive without knowing what they're like. But now that I know what they're like and know what they're capable of, I will never buy a belt-driven or gear-driven wheelbase again. By no means are you just paying for the name when you're going to a direct drive wheel. It is an entire different experience. When I was first researching direct drive versus belt-driven versus gear-driven, I had a lot of skepticism that people were just paying for the Fanatec name brand more than just getting a wheel to use. And wow, Fanatec, you might be paying a little bit extra for the name brand. I think all of us sim racers can agree that. Direct drive is a whole different world. Trying to compare my R9 to a TMX is like trying to compare a TMX to a Wii remote wheel. It's just night and day. But at the end of the day, you have to know if you're the kind of person to enjoy a sim rig enough to invest all the way into it. Are you a true car enthusiast? Are you a gamer? Are you ADHD ridden and you have to go head over heels into every hobby just to have fun with it? No, just me. Because if you are a true car enthusiast, if you are a true gamer, if you already have a ton of hours on Forza or any other driving games, it might be worthy to wait and save up a little bit longer before buying that Thrustmaster TX and just go that next step into sim racing and get a budget direct drive wheel, whether it's a Moza R9 or a Camus. They take the immersion to a whole nother level. 3. Although I say direct drive is worth the money, not only does it depend on you being a car guy or a gamer, but it also depends on what kind of budget you have and if you already have a PC. Because a computer might be worth the money before you go DD, or just look at budgeting in a PC with your wheel setup. I think a good budget to get into sim racing can be about $1,500, and that can go 2 ways. If you already have a computer, $1,500 will get you a super dialed setup. For an example, you can get the Moza R9, the Moza SRP pedals, a Next Level Racing 2.0 stand, the Moza shifter, Moza handbrake, all are about $1,500 worth of sim racing equipment. You can have the exact rig that I have, which is plenty good enough for about anybody getting into sim racing. And if you don't have a computer already, you can stick about $1,000 to $1,200 into a PC, and that'll leave you about $300 to $500, which can get you a Thrustmaster TX used or maybe new. If you buy it used, you'll be able to sell it for about what you bought it for as long as you don't break it, compared to if you buy it new, it's immediately going to be worth a lot less resale. If you ever want to sell it and upgrade to a direct drive wheel setup after getting your PC and already being invested into PC gaming. And we're doing a lot of back and forth here, but we're going to do it again for number 4. Your PC doesn't need to be top of the line. I have a friend on TikTok, Cam, that Turbo Miata. I believe he spent about $400 total on his original gaming PC. Not only was he in all the drift servers with 10 people drifting on clutch kickers, and he was absolutely throwing down on his Logitech wheel with his Amazon stand, but he's also in traffic servers, cutting up traffic like the AEO Boys or Nick Sim Racing server on a $400 PC. And I'm not sure exactly, but a few $100 setup. So that's under $1,000 to be completely into sim racing, be gaming online on PC with your friends, drifting, cutting up traffic. Not quite no hezzy. No hezzy is the main issue that takes a lot of computing power to run. But you'll be able to find similar servers to cut up traffic on the Stuka Revival project that will be able to run on a cheaper computer. I started with a 1650 i5 8GB RAM laptop, an Acer Nitro 5. The only reason I upgraded was for the dense traffic servers and BeamNG while recording, which I may have been able to do with perfect settings on my old computer, but running OBS and a game at the same time is quite a bit. Plus, upgrading that computer allowed me to get into the no hezzy servers, which just kind of opens up the world of sim racing a little bit more, being able to join into such a common server and be able to play with friends. Which takes me into number 5. It's more fun once you get involved online. The sim community is tight. Post some videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, comment on some lives, make some friends and play together. It's easy. We're all pretty nice. TikTok has a really small sim racing community, and the vast majority of guys are just having fun, not taking it too seriously, so don't be afraid to say hi and ask others to play together. I'll have a Discord link in the description if you want to join our Discord and be able to play with us sometime. But it takes sim racing from being kind of like a trampoline toy, one of those things that's only fun every once in a while. The first week you get it, it's a lot of fun, and then it kind of gets boring over the next month, and if your friends aren't interested in it, then it becomes a lot less fun. Posting on TikTok and starting to build a little community around your sim racing and creating content of your sim racing really does open up the door for a lot more entertainment to come from the sim racing. 6. All games can be enjoyed and there's skill to be gained playing almost all driving games. Any of the top sim racing games, including arcade style games that you use your steering wheel with, will help you learn in one way or another. Assetto Corsa, Forza, Dirt Rally, BeamNG, F1, even CarX, Forza Horizon, and dare I say the Crew. Are you going to become a professional racer solely playing arcade games? No. Does that mean that they're worthless? No. Especially being that the majority of people playing arcade style games on a wheel are younger, there's loads of basic skills that can be learned from any game, from throttle management to counter steer, even a little bit of left foot braking, or a bit more advanced skills can even be learned on any game that your wheel works on. And in most cases, you'll learn better habits on any of those games if you have all the assists turned off or down low. It's safe to say that playing Assetto Corsa or iRacing will let you transfer those new skills to real life easier, but I personally started on Forza Horizon, working my left foot braking from just doing standstill burnouts to starting to understand how to use that skill while drifting as well. And touching back to the last point a little bit, if you're interested in making sim racing content but you feel discouraged because you're on console and you're limited to Forza or Gran Turismo, don't be. Some of sim racing's top content creators like Kebab and Forza Horizon Expert create all Forza content, and others like Aladdin who post mostly Gran Turismo content. Forza content is where I started, and it snowballed into me being sponsored by some amazing sim racing companies, so post those videos. Continuing on that thought, number 7, the best sim racing setup, the best game, monitor, console, PC, is whatever you already have and or can afford. Don't get caught up in the consumer games of needing the best, perfect setup before you start. It doesn't matter if Jimmy down the block has a full motion rig with Fanatec hardware. If you're wanting to get into sim racing, you have to start somewhere. Whether it's on Xbox One with the used Thrustmaster TMX or on PlayStation 4 with the Logitech G920, get the wheel and start practicing. The longer you shop things out and wait for the perfect time that you'll be able to afford that $2,000 racing sim, you could have just been driving on a $300 racing sim, improving your skills all along the while. And when you're ready to upgrade, you can sell that cheap wheel that you already have on the Facebook Marketplace for not much less than you got it for. The most important thing isn't what wheel you have or what game you play, it's just getting on, having fun, and getting better. That leads me into number 8. You're going to be terrible at first. We were all there. Sim racing is more difficult than real driving all the way around. With direct drive wheels making that even worse, you can't let go of a DD wheel without chaos ensuing immediately. While driving any 2023 car, you can drive in a straight line down the highway, no-handed with no issues at all. Also, not having a sense of G-force and accelerating and decelerating, along with feeling comfortable just turning the wheel aggressively unlike you would in a car in real life. There's a lot of little things that come into play that make sim racing feel unnatural and more difficult than real life driving. So it takes a while to adjust to those things, but I can tell you that it isn't your wheel's fault. Don't blame your hardware. The cheapest wheel on the market can be driven by the fastest driver in the world racing against a beginner driver in the most expensive racing sim setup that money can buy. And we all know that the professional driver with a cheap setup will do better than the beginner on an expensive setup on the track, whether it's drifting, racing, or just overall car control. Your sim racing gear does not make you a better driver. Practice does. So with that, it all comes down to practice and having fun while you're practicing. That's the name of the game. Making friends along the way is a bonus. And you have to remember that everyone's sim racing goals and intentions are completely different. While one person got a sim rig just for a nice Sunday cruise that they don't have to maintain their car to go on, another person might be trying to become a full-time content creator through it, and the other guy's trying to be the next esports championship racer on iRacing. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just get on the rig and have fun with it, and ignore anyone else's opinion, including mine, if any of these things go against what you believe as a sim racer. If you made it this far in the video, click the like button and comment what sim wheel you play on or what sim wheel you're looking into getting. I started on a TMX and then upgraded to a Thrustmaster TX and now on a Moza R9. And if I missed any key points or if there's anything that you agree or disagreed with heavily, let me know in the comments. These are all just my opinions and what I would have told myself when I was first getting interested in sim driving years ago. Subscribe for more sim racing content from Dan's Gaming Van, the only camper van traveling while sim racing across the US. Thank you for watching, and check out some of these videos. Have a great day. Peace.